Well, welcome to BioTalk, a GBACtv production. Today we have my co-host Patty Ollinger, the Executive Director of GBAC, also Steve Earhart, the Technical Operations Director with GBAC, and a special guest, John Cordier, CEO and co-founder of Epistemics. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Good to have you all together. We're quite the band today. We're going to talk about something important for the industry. And Patty, this is something you have been looking at and working on for a while. Why don't you tell us what this is all about?
Sure. Well, I'll kick it off and then have Steve talk a little bit about it, because Steve has been really instrumental in getting this to this point too. So this is our event ready. This came up from our facilities, our Hyatt hotels, our convention centers, our stadiums, arenas. They came to us, even our destinations, and they said, you know what, we have put all this work in, and how can we promote that we are event ready? We're a GBAC STAR accredited facility, and how do we promote the fact that we're event ready? So, we got together and we started thinking about it, and we started talking to our friends at IAEE with the event planners. And that was, as you know, Jeff, that was one of the first things that we got out there, is that event planners that are certified event managers now, as part of their requirement, is they go through GBAC STAR awareness for event planners. Awesome. We were really excited about that. Well, then what we were starting to think about is, okay, now how can a GBAC STAR facility promote the fact that they're event ready? They have the procedures in place. They're following those procedures. They can give a checklist to the event planner. They may have event planners on staff, and to be able to promote the fact that come here because we've got you covered. Well, on top of that, which we'll get to in a little bit, John Cordier with Epistemics, as we know, has this amazing program, and tying all of these pieces together has been really excited. Steve, what else do we have that you can talk about here?
Yeah, so as Patty mentioned, we came up with this idea in 2021 of a GBAC STAR event. And what we really wanted to highlight and help the in-person meeting industry get back to in-person meetings. After that brief period of that pandemic where these in-person meetings really ceased to exist was kind of a reset, I think, for that industry, looking at the cities that they want to be hosted in, the types of venues, and doing it safely. Getting into a room with that many people at that period of time was still the unknown. Is this a smart idea? And so we wanted to take everything that we were able to learn and then help other people learn through the GBAC STAR accreditation and utilize that for in-person events. So we started with the ISSA North America show in Las Vegas as our really first GBAC STAR event. And what that does is it highlights the efforts made by the GBAC STAR facility in partnership with the planner, whether that is an in-house planner at a hotel or one of these major companies that puts on these giant trade shows. So as we got more and more GBAC STAR events into our portfolio of people that we've worked with, we said, well, how can we take this kind of to the next level and really highlight the efforts of the facilities that were hosting these events? In particular, the GBAC STAR facilities that have really committed to that, these policies, procedures, practices to make people safer, not only their employees, but their attendees. So we created this idea of GBAC STAR Event Ready, something that a facility can then market to a planner or to someone hosting a small event. It can be it can be a birthday party if you want, Jeff, but it's any type of facility that hosts an event. We want to be able to highlight the fact that the venue and the planner or whoever's organizing this event are on the same page to make you the attendee or you the employee working that event a safer, healthier, and more resilient event.
So let's turn to John, because I think what John has is something that just adds icing to the cake. I mean, it is such an amazing and powerful add-on addition, and I'm really excited to be able to partner with Epistemics in making events safer today. John?
Yeah, thanks, Patty. And we're also really excited and fortunate to be able to partner with GBAC on this initiative because of all of the facilities that GBAC has been able to work with over the last couple of years. We've been on the side of mainly working with event planners and event organizers. And our role has been to help them feel prepared for what is to come. So when they're planning an event 4 months out, 6 months out, they can have an understanding of what the health and safety protocols at that time are most likely going to need to be so that they can market to their attendees, their exhibitors, and also just have the peace of mind for themselves as they're planning these larger events to say, we can go forward. We're not putting people at excess risk. And here's a plan. So from our side, we can work with both the facilities to say, like, oh, we're a facility and we have 100 events a year. So one of the bigger areas that GBAC's been able to work in is with Hyatt and other hotels. So for those types of facilities, to your question of how can they use this program or how is this going to be valuable to them, they can take this data and share it with any event that's being held at their venue so that they're able to enable hundreds, thousands of people to show up feeling safe, to feel that that facility has gone the extra mile to be prepared on health and safety protocols and have been able to plan for it months in advance. Then you might have some of these larger events that they might be 10 or 100,000 people, and they're wanting to plan well in advance because they don't want to miss out on revenue from their exhibitors showing up, from attendees backing out. And how can they instill confidence and assurance that you can show up at this large event and things are okay? And this is where the combination of GBAC STAR facility, GBAC like Event Ready, and the Epistemics data can help organizers, planners, and facilities have a more cohesive plan going forward. So really excited about it. We've been talking about this for months now and finally able to really get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is bringing all the pieces together. And as you know, Jeff, I like to connect dots. And it's one of those things that to me, as we're looking at the power of getting back in together again, this is really going to be helping our whole industry and be able to do that.
So let me ask this. If I'm a GBAC accredited facility, how do I get this program working for my facility?
Steve?
I'll jump in on that one, Jeff. So first, the most important distinction here is this is a free add-on to our GBAC STAR accredited facilities. This does not cost anybody any money. It really doesn't require a whole lot of extra work either. It is highlighting what you have done with your GBAC STAR accreditation and using it and applying it to the event space in the event world. So our GBAC STAR facilities will have the option to opt in to be GBAC STAR Event Ready. And really all that means is they're understanding their requirements of being event ready and hosting a GBAC STAR event. An event planner and the facility will work together on a very brief checklist that we put together with our GBAC STAR guidelines for hosting events in event spaces. And it's really just the communication and the collaboration between the event planner and the event venue to keep employees and attendees safer, healthier, and more knowledgeable through the training and through the checklist. Beyond that, requirements of a facility are really just going to be some documentation of events, so we can then use that data and promote the fact that all of our GBAC STAR facilities are really taking it to that next level and expanding further into the event space.
Yeah. And just so that I can clarify just a couple things here, the event ready status is something that will just be added on to with an opt-in option for a facility. So if it's a convention center if it is a hotel, as we said, performing arts, theaters, stadiums, arenas, if they want to be able to promote, it's an opt-in with it. And with that opt-in, they'll have an understanding of what would be required. Part of that requirement would be if it's an outside meeting planner coming in, they're going to require that meeting planner has at least gone through GBAC's awareness training for event planners. And that fee it's a nominal fee for training for that event planner. And then if they choose to then add on the epistemics, it's a relationship with epistemics, which is going to be, again, I'm really excited about pulling all of these pieces together.
Mm-hmm. So looking at it from an event planner perspective, if I'm looking to have an event, what does this mean to me? How important will this be to me as an event planner to choose a location that has this program? Because this could be a selling point for facilities.
Oh, absolutely. It is going to be a selling point. I've been doing a lot of work with the UN Sustainable Development Goals right now, our ESG measures and metrics, and we do a fantastic job for events with sustainability, environmental goals. What we have not done a very good job when we look at pandemic preparedness, and this is kind of that 50,000 foot level, is how do we ensure that health and wellness is actually being put in place for the event, for the attendees or our employees. And so this is really taking that model of what we already do for sustainable events, but be able to promote the fact that we are sustainable, we are resilient, and we are taking in consideration with our own ESG, our environmental, social responsibility and governance metrics to be able to show that we are here for the entire industry and that we're working towards resilience.
So John, maybe you can speak to the partnership and what this means big picture to you and what this looks like coming together.
Sure. So I look at these programs as very complementary, and here's how the value plays out for a specific event organizer, regardless of what facility or set of facilities they might be working with. So if you're an event planner and you're able to use the epistemics, predictive analytics to plan ahead of time, you're able to then see 4, 6, 9 months out, whatever your planning schedule is, understand what the forecast is from a health and disease perspective, and you're able to right size your health and safety protocols. That's all on the predictive analytics and being prepared side of things. But then when you look at what facility you're showing up at, if it's a GBAC STAR facility, you know that what's happening on site is also the standard protocol that everyone should be going forward with, and also the kind of 1-2 combination of being prepared on the predictive analytics side, plus having the on-site readiness and the on-site care being done at that facility. That's the winning combination to be able to have a safe and sustainable event going forward. Patty or Steve, is there anything else that I missed in there?
Oh, no, you said it brilliantly. It is absolutely, I'm so excited. And of course, John, you and I have had conversations. We're heading into the fall. And so people are going inside more. And it is so important for, we put these controls or these we call them mitigation strategies, but really we put together the protocols and the programs in place to keep people safe. And, it's one thing when we're outside in an outdoor arena, but it's another thing when we're starting to go inside and we have to take into consideration all the different pieces of the puzzle, like indoor air quality, how our frequently touched spaces, what is going on with the predictive analytics in the vicinity, in the community. Are infection rates up with regard to COVID? Maybe there's something else going on. Now we've been working with a lot of facilities on monkeypox. What are those things that we need to be looking at? And that event planner can have a confidence knowing that they're going to a facility that's event ready.
Certainly. And even looking at the last 2 years, we know that the environment changes. So last fall, it was the Delta wave that was coming, then followed by Omicron. We know that there's waves of disease that come through, and what we're able to do is help organizers and facilities plan for that so that they can have people showing up, so that business can go on as normal. And that is something that we are certain about will continually come up year over year. So you bring up the fall and winter time specifically for any events or any facilities that are in the Northern Hemisphere globally. We know like this is the time that those facilities need to be most diligent about, well, what is September through January likely going to be? And how can we be prepared? And what do our facilities need to do to ensure the health and safety of people showing up? So yeah, right now is probably the most critical time for all of the folks we can work with in the Northern Hemisphere. And then as we look at the second part of the year, helping, everything that we've learned from 2021, 2022 into 2023 and beyond for what's going on in the Southern Hemisphere. And then we just repeat that cycle over and over, event by event.
I would think that anyone who does events worries about the future, like what can happen in 6 months, and is my event going to be affected by it? I see this as a great solution for that confidence. I just know when I buy an airline ticket way out, I'm kind of worried, will that airplane actually get me there? For events, there must be some of the same concerns about the location and what's going on with infections and disease and any health concern. And Steve, you mentioned, I think you talked about the simplicity of this, how easy it is. So what you're telling me is the GBAC team is there to help everyone get this done, and it'll be painless. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think you make a good point there too, Jeff, about not really understanding what's possible in the future with regard to events, because we've seen it. We've seen a global event truly affect that industry more than most. And as John talks about kind of the winning combination of what we're doing here, I'd like to point out that the training that we've talked about, the infectious disease awareness training for event planners, is a 1-year training. So once either an in-house event planner or an external event planner takes that course, that's now good for 1 year. That means we can create that winning combination event after event after event and already have kind of the biggest piece of it checked off with that person having that training. It makes that collaboration that much easier, that much more streamlined as we partner with our GBAC STAR facilities and these event planners.
Yeah, and that awareness training is in 6 languages and takes about 40 minutes to complete.
So all this sounds great. So Steve, why don't you wrap it up? Let us know how people will learn more in the future and how they can get more information.
Yep. So this will be launching here at the early part of September. We have a STAR Report newsletter article coming out featuring this. We have an email set up right now, GBAC STAR Event at ISSA.com, that you can reach out to and learn more and learn how to opt in.
All right. And that email will be in the video description below. So if you didn't hear Steve say it, you can see it there and then reach out for more information. Well, John, Steve, Patty, thank you for your time today.